Good morning, Prep One. How are you? Wish you all to be fine and great, inshallah. Today, the next video of Module 5, which is about grammar. Grammar in this module contain two rules. The first one, this is well known for you, which is passive. The second one, the causative. Both of them are near to each other. Let us see. And no. Okay, I want all of you to open your books on page 66 and be with me. The passive form, we form the passive with the verb to be in the appropriate tense and the past participle of the main verb. How is that? From this table. Okay, we have present simple, active and passive, like Jan builds houses. This is present simple. How we can change it to passive or builds? So present continuous is building. How to change it into passive or being built? Past simple, built. For the passive, were built. Past continuous was building. For the passive, were being built. Present perfect simple has built. For the passive, have been built. For the past perfect simple, had built. For the passive, had been built. For the future simple, will build. For the passive, will be built. And the infinitive has to build, and the passive have to be built. And the last one would be modal verb, can build or can be built. Okay, why we use the passive? When the person or people doing the action is or are unknown, unimportant, or obvious from the text. The post office was robbed last week. We don't know who robbed it. All the invitations had been sent. Who had sent them is unimportant. My car was repaired this morning. It's obvious that the mechanic repaired it. So this is the first use. Okay, the second use is when the action itself is more important than the person or people doing it. As in news headlines, newspaper articles, advertisements, instructions, formal notes, process, and etc. The charity concert will be held outdoors. Whatever the people or the person who will perform the concert. The third one, which is when we want to avoid taking responsibility for an action, or when we refer to an unpleasant event and we don't want to say who or what is to blame. The meal was cooked badly. To emphasize the agent, our hotel has been praised by most visitors. To make statements more formal or polite, my umbrella has been broken, so more polite than saying you broke my umbrella. Okay? Okay. Can any one of you ask, Miss, how can we know some instructions to change from the active into the passive? Of course, yes. The first one, the object of the active sentence becomes the subject in the passive sentence. The object here, Mary wrote the story. So the object here, the story, will be the subject, the story, the first one in the passive. The active verb remains in the same tense but changes into the passive. Okay, here is a past simple. So we move it to the past simple but in the passive, was written. The subject of the active sentence becomes the agent and is either introduced with the preposition by or is omitted. Okay, we can say by Mary or we delete this one. The story was written and that's enough. Okay. This is okay. We go for let becomes be allowed in the passive. When we see they let us leave earlier today. So when we change it into passive, we were allowed to leave earlier today. And we can use the verb to get instead of the verb to be in everyday speech. When we talk about things that happen by accident or unexpectedly. The money I had been saving for my holidays got stolen. Okay. By plus agent is used to say who or what carries out an action. Or with plus instrument material ingredient is used to say what the agent used. When I say, this dress was made by my grandmother, or it was made with silk. The agent can be omitted, as I said, or deleted when the subject is they, he, someone, somebody, people, or one. This is a general subject, so we can delete it. The plants will be watered. He will water the plants. The agent is not omitted when it's a specific or important person, or when it's essential to the meaning of the sentence. Harry Potter and the Deathly House was written by J.K. Rowling. We have some verbs like take two objects like bring, tell, send, show, teach, promise, sell, read, offer, give, lend, etc. We can form two different passive sentences. When we have an active one, Mary gave Bradley an MP3 player. We can say Bradley was given an MP3 player by Mary. This is one, and this is the more common one. Or an MP3 player was given to Bradley by Mary. This is less common. To say an MP3 player was given to Bradley by Mary. Okay. The verbs like hear, help, see, and make are followed by a pair infinitive in the active but a two infinitive in the passive. She made us tidy our rooms before we could go out. This is an active one. When we change it into passive, we say we were made to tidy our rooms before we could go out. This is for the passive. Can we change this question in page on page? Wait to see you to the page 66. Okay, they cut down over 2.5 million trees every day. Over 2.5 million trees. This is a present simple will be or cut, so we has or. Present continuous, we are using up natural resources too quickly. Natural resources are being, yes. Past simple, they hunted the dodo to extinction. The dodo was. Excellent. For the past continuous, the factories were polluting the river. Was being polluting, yes. Expert will monitor the turtles, so the turtles will be monitored, yes. They have planted 1,000 trees on the mountain, so 1,000 trees have been. You can recycle, يبقى you can be recycled. Most plastics can be recycled. That's great. Okay, let me say something that by comes following by person who did the action. The forest fire was put out by the firefighters, but with comes before instrument or material ingredients, what the person used. The forest fire was put out with water from the lake. So the first one, seals are hunted by. The oil-covered birds were cleaned with them. The environmental problem has been caused by human carelessness. Levels of pollution can be measured with the instruments. So the other questions will be for you as an activity to answer it. Okay. Moving to the next rule in this module, which is the causative rule. Let us read the first and second sentence. Okay, take your time to read it by yourself, then I'm gonna read it with you. Okay, the first one is Dr. Smith monitors the fish. Dr. Hayes has volunteers monitor the fish. Okay, what the difference? The form for the first glance, which is the form. Have or make plus object, which is person, plus infinitive without to, cause somebody to do something. So this means cause somebody to do something, that I force you to do this. She had Bob plant some trees in the garden. She asked Bob to do this. She made Mary go to school by bike. She insisted that Mary go to school by bike. So had or have means to ask someone to do something, and made or make, which is mean insist to somebody to do something. Okay, the next form is get plus object, which is person, plus to plus infinitive, to persuade somebody to do something. I convince you to do this. She got Tony to take the bottles to the recycling bin. She persuaded him. Okay, we go for the rule. We have a table also for this rule, as the present simple wash will be he has his car washed. He is washing his car. He is having his car washed. He washed his car. He had his car washed. He was washing his car for past continuous. He was having his car washed. And so on for the other. You have to read it by your own. We also use the causative form to say that something unpleasant or unexpected happened to somebody. They had their house broken into, so this is unpleasant thing. We can use get instead of have only in an informal conversation. Gal should get her hair cut. Make or have plus object plus infinitive are used to express that someone causes someone else to do something, but their meaning is slightly different. The teacher made me learn the whole unit by heart. She insisted that I learned it by heart. They had an estate agent sell their house. They asked him to sell their house. Get plus object plus to infinitive show that someone persuades someone else to do something. We got a famous athlete to promote our health products, so we persuaded him to promote them. Okay, to be clear for you, we go for an exercise for this one. We have to put have, got, or make in the correct form. The owner will ask the chef to use organic ingredients. The owner will have the chef use organic ingredients. The teacher insists that children put the letter in the bin, so will be the teacher makes the children put their letter in the bin, because here we have insist. Mom has hired a gardener to plant trees in the garden, so Mom has had a gardener plant trees in her garden. They are asking volunteers to clean up the park. They are having volunteers clean up the park. The group persuaded the politician to set up a recycling scheme. The group got the politician to set up a recycling scheme. The plumber can fix Tony's tap. Tony can have a plumber fix his tap. Okay. So we have after it a reflexive or emphatic pronouns that we had it so many times, like herself, myself, himself, themselves, or whatever. I'm going to buy myself a bike with the money I saved up. Jerry made a working wind turbine himself. We all need to go green the planet. The planet can't heal itself. The students themselves. Clean up your rubbish yourself. My sister cut herself. So I think this is so much easier for you. Okay, so we reached to the end of this video, and by this one we have ended or finished module 5, the second module. Wish that you understood all what we had before for module 3 and module 5, and waiting for the last module, which will be in the next videos, inshallah, in the next 2 videos. Bye for now, and waiting for the next videos. Bye.